please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Welcome back. The SGX Nifty is indicating that we'll have a green start and 40 points in the green. The Asian markets, the emerging markets part is doing well, led by Hong Kong, of course. SP Tulsian of sptulsian.com is with us. Ms. Tulsian, good morning. I wanted your thoughts on Titan first, because that could perhaps be one of the stocks of the morning. It's corrected, but you think it needs to correct more?
See, Anuj, if you really, if I would have, detached myself with the news of Rakesh having sold 1.25 crore shares, I would have said that probably 1.25 crore shares, I would have said that probably Titan seem to have bottomed out at the current level. But I think that this will be having a sentimental negative effect, because people, they do get disturbed that since he has exited or he has been seen reducing, is there any question on the future growth prospects of the company? Because in fact, this I have been saying for last 2-3 days in my afternoon shows also, that when the stock moved to about closer to 1,000 rupees, about a couple of months back, since then we have been advising to remain away from the stocks and advising profit booking. But having corrected to the level of about 830, 835, if it corrects to a level of 800 rupees, I think that makes a good entry point, in spite of the Rakesh having sold about 1.25 crore shares, which could be just a prudent move on his part. If he's holding 8-9% stake in the company, no harm in booking profits in the couple of percentage.
Okay, good morning, Mr. Tulsian. I wanted to ask you about the graphite stocks, because there has been a big upgrade, price target upping coming from one of the brokerages. But before that, just a word on the markets. They've opened and it's looking flat at the moment, and actually divergent, because the Sensex is up and the Nifty is down. But look at the rupee, it's opened steady. Yesterday, towards close itself, we saw some steadying, and some people attributed it to RPI, I'm not so sure. But today, a steady opening in the rupee also should give some bit of finding of the feet in the equity markets, as it were. Okay, now 63. So that's a substantial, a short covering that we are seeing in the rupee. We saw a little bit of that coming in the yuan as well. We saw the dollar index slide to below 95. So looks like some stability, at least for the day. And let's remember, today is June 29th, it's quarter end. A lot of people would have a personal stake in pushing share prices and bond prices up today because of obvious NAV calculations. That also could be put on the table. But that apart, at the moment, there are fundamental reasons with the currency markets showing less turmoil and some steadiness. Maybe some steadiness will return to the equity markets as well. But Mr. Tulsian, I wanted to ask you about the HEG and graphite twins. Macquarie has given some huge 4,800 or 4,200 target in HEG, and graphite as well, some 4-figure number, I think 1,200 if I'm not mistaken. You think there's a goodish bit to go in these graphite twins?
See, Lata, after having heard, Mr. Bangar in graphite and Mr. Junjunwala of HEG, and having confirmed by them that the contract renewals, because market was very much worried that probably that was all on one-off because of Chinese things and all that, but the kind of indications which have been given by them that FY19 is going to remain the same, and the graphite electrodes. In fact, if you see the electric arc furnace, the kind of growth which we have been seeing, the replacement, and more into the US markets also is which are, requiring huge this graphite electrodes which are made by the HEG and Graphite India. I think that the things are seen quite positive for whole of FY19, because market was earlier worried that probably this rise may remain confined only to Q4 and Q1. But having heard both the managements, I don't think that situation is seen to be like that. It is seen sustaining, and all the contracts of the long term also, seen having happened at a higher level. And I think that the kind of pollution control norms which have been prevailing in China, the demand is going to be serviced by the US demands, and the other parts of the world is going to get serviced by the Indian graphite electrodes makers. So in that scenario, difficult to give a comment on the targets on both the stocks. But the positive bias continues to remain, because Q1 results will be seen better. The only caveat or only caution will be that once the Q1 results will be out, then at that point of time it can be taken that share prices have peaked out at that point of time, and we may see profit booking thereafter, because these are all volatile stocks. But if you take a long-term scenario on the pricing front and on the margin front, I think that scene or looks to be robust and positive going ahead.
All right, well, a couple of more stocks to look at. Titan's reaction is quite interesting. It's just a sentiment overhang that we're seeing at the moment. It's down but not out, so down about 1% on Titan. Interglobe Aviation, there was a big downgrade that came in from Credit Suisse on Interglobe, where they cut the target price to 1,200, and you know, they have, I mean, it's still higher than where the current market price is, but they've sliced down their target price quite a bit. And a couple of these other stocks like Ashok Leyland are seeing a bit of a recovery at the moment. Prakash Gaba, any quick thoughts on how to approach two of these names, Titan and Ashok Leyland, today?
I think Titan certainly is looking weak, more of an exhaustion pattern. It has bounced from, actually returned from 1,000, which is a psychological resistance out there. Perhaps we could see a slide to maybe around 750 zones in the days to come. That's a good possibility. As for Ashok Leyland is concerned, it's trading closer to support, but I don't like the way it's broken down. In fact, I feel that the recent low highs that we have seen, it cross around 140 zones. It can slide down to levels closer to 110. There's a good possibility. Will it bounce there? I don't know, but looks like it is getting tired out here.
Okay. Well, thanks for that, Prakash. Let's get Manisha Gupta in. Manisha, what are the early commodity trends looking like?
Well, all over the place, really, Lata, because you know the markets have seen some profit taking, especially the crude oil prices. We are looking at 0.25% down onto that one. There are global tensions. The demand estimates is something that the markets are worried about. But even having said that, we are up 13% in case of the crude oil prices on week-on-week basis. It has been OPEC and then US and Iran sanctions and halting of imports from Iran, and the strong demand estimates for rest of 2018 and the supply concerns from various oil producers. All of that has been adding premium to the prices. So we are closing the week, the month, the quarter on a positive note when it comes to the crude oil prices. Can't say the same about the other commodities, because gold is headed for a worst monthly decline since November 2016. We have seen prices decline 8% in last 3 months, and this month alone we have seen the gold prices go down by nearly 5.5%. We have seen a breach of 1250 on the weaker side as well. When it comes to the base metal prices, well, today there is some bargain buying that we have seen in Shanghai. If you look at the lead prices, it is up by 3%. 19-month highs coming in for lead there. Zinc, copper, which have been trading at multi-month lows for all of this week, also have seen some buying come in. So when it comes to metals as cues, 1 to 3% up in Shanghai at this point in time.
Okay, Manisha, thanks a lot for that. So metals could be interesting space to watch out for. Mr. Tulsian, good morning. The thoughts on a stock like Maruti now, because it's just not refusing just refusing to rally. I mean, we had that one rally perhaps on the stock last month, but that's been sold into, and now trading below the 200-day moving average as well, which it hasn't done in the last 2 years. As an investor, you think it's good time to buy now?
See, Anuj, definitely it looks a good buy, but I won't be able to give the comment on the price pattern or maybe the 200 DMA behavior. But if you see the stock having corrected to a level of about 8,300, 8,400, if I'm not mistaken, in the month of June, and it was swiftly bought at that point of time. Maybe some PMS or some institutions must have come for selling at that point of time, because if you really take the situation, keep increasing because of the capacity utilization seen getting increased for their Gujarat plant, which earlier they were in the range of 150 to 155. 5,000. So obviously, if you have seen this 15% growth seen sustaining and the kind of order booking, you have a clear-cut earning growth visibility of at least 16-18%. If I take this operating leverage and the kind of growth which we will be seeing in the performance of monthly sales performance which we have been seeing. So I think that this remains, one should not be too bothered. Take the case of Bajaj Finance. If you recall, about a couple of months back, it was ruling at a level of about 1,700 rupees and swiftly moved to a level of 20 to 2,300. So sometimes these stocks, they don't move in a linear way, but I think that if one is cautious, then can look for a level of 87, 800, 8,800 for buying Maruti. Otherwise, Maruti is definitely seem to be a good buy as a portfolio stock even at the current level.
Okay. Mr. Tulsian, do stay on. We have news-based discussions to handle. Kalpataru Power, we tried earlier today. The company has secured new orders worth about 1,200 crore rupees. We've joined by Mr. Munot, the chairman of Kalpataru Power. Good morning, Mr. Munot. Can you give us a little more color about this 1,235 crores of orders that you have got? Who has given them? What is the length of the order? What are the margins?
This is in Bangladesh, Dhaka Tongi Joydevpur line. It's a complete line, right from laying tracks to signaling. and we have won it in a joint venture with EFCO, with 49 and 51% sharing.
Okay.
And this is a very prestigious line, and it values about 1393 crore taka, which is equivalent to about 1200 crores of rupees.
Does this take your total order book too? And in general, are you seeing a pickup as far as demand and orders are concerned?
Yes. Well, railway division is doing very well, and even otherwise also, the growth of the company is good.
Okay. And what's the total order book now?
It's definitely over 10,000 crores, 12,000 crores.
Okay.
12,000 crores.
All right, Mr. Muno, thanks a lot for that quick take. Pre-open has settled 23 points higher on the Nifty. Bank Nifty is down 12 points. Now, keep in mind, we had that 3 p.m. move on Bank Nifty because of that move on HDFC Bank. That's going to correct, at least for start, and that's where the equilibrium would be on the Bank Nifty. So, HDFC Bank, of course, should start about 8 to 10 rupees lower, which is nothing because that 3 p.m. it had that 8 to 10 rupee move, which was an expiry move. So, first thing in the morning, that gets corrected. After that, of course, let's see how that one moves. Ashwini, your thoughts on market opening and pre-opening and your 9-10 call?
Well, I'm hoping that, Bank Nifty falls 50 to 100 points because of HDFC Bank. That will give a nice opportunity to get long because yesterday we turned from about 26, 150, 200. So anything close to 26, 200 should give you that opportunity to enter. But today is more a sideways day. Don't try to chase because, you will get declines in several stocks to be bought at lower levels. But it appears that techs are going to open strongly. So Infosys is a buy with a stop at about 1275, target of 1320.
Okay, I also wanted a word on Titan, Ashwini. I mean, predictably opening about 1.2% lower, but the chart is still with lower lows and lower highs.
So the point is that a big seller is probably done. So that way, today could be a good day for Titan. So that gap down can be bought. The 200-day moving average is about 820. So chances are you are buying fairly close to very strong supports. From here, it can easily get back to 890, 900 thereabouts.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, Escorts has moved from 1,000 all the way down to about 850. Does it look attractive at this price?
Sonia, definitely it looks attractive, and I think that again the monthly sales numbers, because June is always the best sales month for the tractors, and I'm expecting both the numbers from M&M and Escorts, to post the better numbers, for the June also on a comparative basis on a month-on-month and YOY also. But the only caveat on the lighter side that I think that the news should not come that Rakesh has exited from Escorts also, which may have made the stocks to correct to these levels.
That's a great point, Mr. Tulsian. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning. The markets
over the last
like
2 or 3 months, M&M has outperformed Escorts by a good 20%. Because last year Escorts had that massive run. Escorts had that massive run, so that's clearly one reason. Perhaps that outperformance, near-term outperformance, may have some more legs on M&M.
Okay, well, at the moment, 0.25% higher on all the 3 indices. Okay, the mid-cap index is doing much better, so perhaps a greater deal of short covering over there. Mitesh, anything on your radar? Any index trade at all?
Lata, I think, as I said, my bias is clearly towards more on the short side. So I think if we get a 30-point kind of an opening, I'll start with buying some put options for July, which is 10,600 put options. In case we go higher and are closer to about 10,650, 670 zone, even shorting futures is comfortable.
Okay, Ashwini, even the PSU banks are starting with a bit of green. Obviously, they have been butchered so much. Do you think today's short covering, if it sustains, these also are dips that can be bought in today?
See, the bigger the fall in stocks, the weaker the stock, the higher they'll bounce. That's a typical short covering move.
Okay.
So weaker stocks will tend to do better.
Okay, by the way, these graphite stocks are just out of whack on the upside. So both HEG and Graphite India are up almost about 3-4%. Prakash Gaba, would you trade any of these names on the upside?
Well, Sonia, it looks like graphite is closer to support, and support is in the vicinity of 790. Now, if it crosses 810, if you're saying it's up then possible 830 is also a possibility in graphite.
Okay. Well, at the moment, it's only the Nifty Bank which is struggling a bit, and that, of course, is on predictable lines. Let's see how HDFC Bank is at the moment. It's not a great deal. It's just about 0.5%, 10 rupees or 9 rupees.
Which is that expiry move, that 3 p.m. move on expiry. You know, we discussed it in closing bell yesterday. You know, from
it's neither here nor there. 10 rupees.
Yeah, after that, the move will come on HDFC Bank, which could, of course, take perhaps the Bank Nifty higher as well. Kotak as well will be an interesting stock to track today.
Well, Vedanta, Hindalco and all are not doing too well. There has been a seminal fall in copper prices. Though today, because of the dollar weakening, we are seeing a little bit of a turn in the Shanghai market, as Manisha just informed us. But Vedanta still in the red. Of course, it has more problems than just copper prices. There goes the bell, and it is a third of a percent higher, actually. 10,620 taken, 622 now, 623 than just copper prices.